Well, it's about connectivity with the people, and at the same time, we need to learn to connect to something beyond the people. So there are two connectivity. One is connection with contest, connection with competition, connection with calculations, or connection with conflict or comparisons. And there's another kind of connectivity which is of cooperation, which is of coordination, contribution, perhaps even compassion. So both are in a way connectivity. One connectivity enhances our competencies to procure the comforts that we require in this world. And another connectivity perhaps perhaps brings down that external comfort but allows us to bring in an internal comfort. And in that connectivity, it is devoid of jealousies, it is devoid of greed. So it is that connectivity which we need to enhance. In the world, we deal with diversities, and to make it easy to manage the diversities, many times our attempt is to create a standardized methods, or to uniformize, or to even discover commonalities. But there is a lot of strength in diversity. One need not worry about diversity. Diversity will make us compare. Diversities will make us compete. But to escape from the stress of competition and comparison, we need not disapprove of the diversities. Rather, we need to learn to find the weaknesses in having diversity, or even the strength in having the diversity. Because only because there is diversity, we are reinventing ourselves. The diversities are forcing us to relearn and reskill ourselves. So there is no complacency because of the impact of diversity on our behavior. If you uniformize things, if you standardize things just to escape from the pain of having to deal with diversity, then what happens? Because uniformity and standardizing also has weaknesses. The weaknesses is that it may get boring, or we may stagnate, and there is no room to innovate, there is no room to create new methods of interaction, methods of there's no scientific approach if everything is stagnating. So uniformity perhaps makes us complacent. So there is weakness in uniformity, there is weakness in standardizing things, and there is strength in diversity. So when you start dealing with diversity, and then we understand that we have greed, we have jealousy, now we need to connect to something which is beyond standardizing, beyond uniformizing, and which is beyond diversity too. And that is to discover a commonality among all the human beings. And that commonality will allow me to know that I am part, and a very integral part, of all the people, of my environment. I'm an integral part of my ecosystem that I'm in, my habitat. Conversely speaking, my habitat devoid of me is incomplete. My environment devoid of me is incomplete. When I get that connectivity, when I establish myself in that connectivity, then I start realizing that the other person's growth and progress is equal to my growth and progress. Therefore, there is no jealousy. And I will not feel that I need to procure things which other people have, because that is what they have. They are unique. I am unique. We are not equal. So they have some things different from what I have. So then I will not be greedy to procure things just because I see the other person has it. Neither will I be jealous because the other person is progressing at his own pace, which is maybe faster than my pace, because he is unique, because I have to arrive at my own uniqueness. So in this connectivity, that I'm an integral part of the ecosystem, habitat and the environment that I'm in, I can live devoid of jealousy, devoid of greed, and that connectivity is now has to dominate, and the connectivity of competition, comparison has to diminish in its dominance. When I establish myself in the new connectivity, that is to say, I'm an integral part of the environment, I'm an integral part of the habitat, or the ecosystem is devoid of me, is incomplete. When that intelligence, if I can establish myself in that intelligence, then the environmental happiness or the success of the habitat is equal to my success, is equal to my happiness. In other words, happiness and success is already there. But when I feel disconnected from the success and happiness that is in my environment, then I start chasing to procure these two things to myself. I start chasing, I start driving myself to do things to procure happiness and to procure success, which I start thinking is not there with me currently, because I experience the disconnect with the habitat and the environment. The habitat and the environment and the ecosystem that I am in is caring for me, that's for sure, is attending to my needs, and that's for sure. And the environment and the circumstances that I am in its own pace, which is the right thing for me, is recognizing my effort, is acknowledging me. But when I feel disconnected from that circumstances, from that environment, which is caring for me immensely, then I start getting disconnected from all the qualities of the environment, which is of care for me, which is of comfort for me, which is of attention on me, which is of acknowledging my effort, which is recognizing me of my contribution. And when I feel the disconnect with those things, then I start driving myself to chase happiness and success. So the context is that the chasing of happiness and success can be minimal, and experiencing that I'm part of the environment and I'm connected to the existing success and existing happiness of the environment is already mine, it's already with me. And when that connectedness is established, then I'm more calm, more composed, and then I start witnessing things around me.